So wake up to the reality. You are living in a very toxic environment,
So at what age we should focus on the longevity?
and we should plan our wellness before even planning for our pregnancies. We are not able to stop the disease progression. Okay, there are no guidelines and protocols. That's what I call there is a knowledge gap. That is the maximum life a human can live. We are clearly wasting 50% of what God has gifted us. Without this realization, you cannot improve the lifespan.
Hi, I'm Santosh Kumar from Medical Information Clear. We are seeing a lot of health related topics. Today we're going to discuss more about how to live longer. To answer those questions, we have our guest Dr. Thangadurai. He is a founder of the Gold Healthcare. He has 4 branches in Tamil Nadu. Outside of Tamil Nadu, he has another 4 franchises like Krishnagiri and Bangalore and Lucknow. In Tamil Nadu, he has branches in Coimbatore, Erode, Tirupur and Kopi. Dr. Thangadurai sir, welcome.
Thanks for having me here today.
Tell me more about you, and we want to know that you are a laparoscopic surgeon and now you turned into a wellness provider. Tell me about the journey and how you become Dr. Gold.
I'm a conventional trained general surgeon and specialized in laparoscopy. I was so much convinced with the conventional medicine during the early days of my medical practice. But while we are treating those patients who are suffering from non-communicable diseases, particularly patients with BP, sugar, cholesterol, heart disease, PCOS, infertility, obesity, fatty liver, and many other metabolic conditions, we are not able to stop the disease progression. So many drugs we have been prescribing for the patients. Even with those handful of drugs, we are not able to stop the disease progression. We were able to reduce the rate of progression of the disease. This is actually, there were thoughts in my mind that are we really missing something in medicine? I mean, once a person becomes patient, will he be a patient lifelong? Is there any way to reverse any chronic conditions like BP, sugar and cholesterol? And these are largely unexplored actually. We are having the myth that once a patient becomes diabetic, he remains diabetic lifelong. May not be so, necessarily so. I had been doing research for about 8 years now, looking at the scientific papers and researchers. There are tons of research articles which clearly tell you that these diseases can be prevented, and if at all it is there, it can be reversed, possibly without any drugs, extending their lifespan. All these things can be done, but unfortunately there are no guidelines and protocols in conventional medicine to reverse any chronic conditions. So I just thought I should take a leap, and that's why I focused more on the wellness space, preserving the health and reversing all the chronic diseases. I mean, most of the chronic diseases, if not all. And there are ways and protocols to do it. What I can clearly see is most of the thing that what we have been practicing in conventional medicine is at least 20 to 30 years old. We are not looking into the current researches and technologies actually. That's what I call there is a knowledge gap in medicine. What I really mean is the research articles are not translated into clinical practice, which means that there is a knowledge gap. Particularly, there are no protocols and guidelines for the reversal of any chronic conditions. The pathetic thing is, even if your doctor is a true gentleman having a big heart and he may be the nicest person on the planet, without knowing anything about reversals, anything about normalizing a patient, he may not be able to help you. It will be dealt only with drugs to be taken lifelong.
Tell me current scenario on people want to live longer. Tell me about longevity.
So when we are talking about the longevity space, we need to discuss about lifespan and life expectancy. The average life expectancy of Indian population is less than 70 years. It's about 67 or 68 years. And the lifespan of human beings is about 120 years. That is the maximum life a human can live. We are clearly wasting 50% of what God has gifted to us. Simply because of ignorance. I would say, even with the advent of researchers and technologies, we are thinking that we are actually living longer. We are not living more than 50% of what God has gifted. This is attributed mainly to the sheer ignorance and a change in the food system that has happened 50 to 60 years ago, shifting from organic farming towards chemical farming in the name of Green Revolution, and fortifying a lot of things, and the recent introduction of ultra-processed foods, which is a trifecta of excess sugars, refined oils, and refined grains. And so also we are living in a toxic environment. A baby born is having more than 200 toxic chemicals in the umbilical cord blood. That's the real scenario of the current situation. So wake up to the reality. You are living in a very toxic environment. Without this realization, you cannot improve the lifespan.
மெடிக்கல் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கிளியர் சேனலில் நம்ம ஒரு வாட்ஸ்அப் குரூப் ஓப்பன் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். அந்த வாட்ஸ்அப் குரூப்பில் உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது ஹெல்த் கேர் ரிலேட்டடாக ஏதோ ஒரு பிரச்சனை இருந்துச்சுன்னா அந்த பிரச்சனையை அந்த குரூப்பில் போட்டிங்க அப்படின்னா நாங்கள் அதுக்கு ரிலேட்டடாக ப்ரொஃபஷன்ஸில் அந்த கொஷின்ஸை கேட்டு அதுக்கான ஆன்சரை உங்களுக்கு நாங்கள் கொடுக்குறோம். இந்த குரூப்போட லிங்க் நீங்கள் எங்கே போய் பார்க்கணும் அப்படின்னா இந்த யூடியூப் சேனலுக்கு போயிட்டு மோர் போனீங்கன்னா அந்த மோர்ன்ற இடத்துல வந்து லிங்க் இருக்கும். எங்கள் வாட்ஸ்அப் குரூப்போட லிங்க் இருக்கும். அந்த லிங்கை கிளிக் பண்ணிங்கன்னா உங்கள் குரூப்பில் நாங்கள் ஆட் பண்ணிடுவோம். ஸோ தட் ஃப்யூச்சரில் நீங்கள் அந்த குரூப்பில் உங்களுக்கு என்ன கொஷின் இருந்தாலும் கேட்டுக்கலாம். தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச். So at what age we should focus on the longevity?
We are not only what we eat, but what our parents and grandparents ate. So such is the implication of nutrition and lifestyle in the next two generations. This is what we call the epigenetics, the control of genes through nutrition and lifestyle. And we should plan our wellness before even planning for our pregnancies.
Okay. Oh, why is it so?
So as I have already told that the micronutrients, particularly vitamins and minerals, and the macronutrient portion, particularly proteins, are very much deficient in our Indian subpopulation, particularly females. So also is the iron. So we need to fortify what is missing even before the pregnancies. Just taking simply methylfolate actually prevents the occurrence of congenital abnormalities. So whenever you're feeling like you want to gift something for your friend's marriage, you can ask him to buy a quality supplement which is like methylated B vitamins for the couple. In a way, like it prevents a lot of complications that occurs later in the life.
To dig deeper for that question, I want to know that let's focus on the people between the age of 20 to 30s, how they can reduce the aging, how they can live longer.
So we have epidemic of sarcopenia and abdominal obesity. We are actually losing a lot of muscles and particularly putting a lot of weight in the midsection. This is becoming universal throughout the world. So you should focus mainly on metabolic composition. Your body composition is your metabolic health.
Okay.
So when your metabolic health is good, your longevity will be good.
Okay. Explain more about me. What is metabolic?
So metabolism consists of anabolism and catabolism. Due to the recent introduction of ultra-processed foods, chemical forming, way we cook, a lot has changed. So also we are switching over from slow carbs to fast carbs or fast food. The interesting thing is what we are really cooking in your home, like polished rice, refined oils, all those things are actually fast food. It's not very much different from what has been served in the restaurant. So these are clearly fast foods which actually increases your sugar levels. That is what we call the sugar spikes, and followed by a sugar crash.
Okay.
So this will actually amplifies the insulin response, that is insulin levels in the blood. And over a period of time, when there is a high insulin levels all the time, you develop insulin resistance. And there is a tsunami of insulin resistance that is happening worldwide. And no one really knows about it. So if you want to live longer, you had to prevent these sugar spikes, prevent the insulin resistance that is going to happen over a period of time.
What are the foods should taken in a day, age group of 20 to 40? Tell me more about the food. What should be taken in the morning, afternoon, night, and what time it should be taken?
A simple rule of thumb could be like focus on proteins and fats for breakfast and dinner, and you can have a wonderful carbohydrate meal during lunch. And so also we should focus on fibers, because fiber is not a food for us, it's a food for our friend microbiome. So which plays a very important role in the expression of each and every cellular metabolism as well as beyond that. So we need to take care of our friend microbiome. Then it will take care of us. For that, we need to feed them with fibers.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we are feeding only 10 to 15 grams of fibers every day. Our ancestors had the habit of having 75 to 100 grams per day. The recent recommendations is at least we should be having 25 grams of fibers. The larger the quantity, better.
What time? Tell me about the time of the foods.
Our ancestors had been practicing what we are really calling nowadays as intermittent fast. Having your breakfast by 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Or 11 o'clock and finishing your dinner before sunset.
Meaning 6, 7.
Yeah, maybe at the most you can have the dinner by 7 o'clock. This is in accordance with the circadian rhythm. That is nothing but the sleep-wake cycle of the day. If you're doing this is not actually fasting, I would say. This is the right way of eating. The simple idea is, it's not about restricting foods, but having foods during 8 hours of eating window between 10 to 6 o'clock and the fasting window of 16 hours, 7 to 11.
So tell me about this supplementation. People are telling NMN and resveratrol are helping for live longer. Tell me more about it.
We are not living in an ideal environment. Lot of nutrients that are actually very essential for us. We should focus our foundations first. At least 80% of the 80 to 90% of the population is deficient in vitamin D levels. And it's not about deficiency. The levels that are being recommended are actually 600 international units per day. That is the RDA for vitamin D.
Okay.
But the actual recommendation is it should be at least 5 to 10,000 units per day. 95% of the population is deficient in omega. That may be the reason why the Japanese are living long.
How this NMN and resveratrol working on longevity?
Muscle is the organ of longevity. Just spend 30 minutes every day.
Now most of the people doing a desk job. That's this affecting their longevity.